All right, man. Yo, the internet was on fire yesterday when Kendrick Lamar fires back at Drake with a track called Euphoria. Now, there's a lot of, you have to listen closely because there's a lot, but he raps about how, a line that stood out was famous actor we once knew is looking paranoid and now spiraling. He takes shots at his relationship with his son. He says, I got a son to raise, but I can see you don't know nothing about that. And he keeps going. Now, there's a rumor that there's a 19-minute version of it. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I saw the rumor, but it's Kendrick Lamar. It's possible.
It's possible. That's a lot to say, but yeah. So a lot of debate. Some people loved it. Some people hated it. Here we are.
Well, I think what we need to get into, and Cass, I know you'll feel me on this.
Right.
I'm not sure if Rosenberg feels this, but now that we know, and it seems like it was confirmed in this Kendrick song. Maybe I'm hearing it wrong, and maybe it's to something else. But there was rumors around Kendrick being on first-person shooter, and he didn't want to do it. But then he jumps up on like that. So that would make first-person shooter, in some ways, the catalyst for this most recent round of exchanges.
Right, because you could even argue that on that third verse on First Person Shooter, it's kind of like Drake firing off to what he knew was coming, but we didn't know it was coming.
Right.
And then also remember, because Kendrick, if you think back to, there was a track on Kendrick's album where he mentioned that he didn't understand how Kanye and Drake were piecing it up. He's like, I don't understand that, right? So that kind of gives you a view into Kendrick's mind state of things. Like, yo, if you and I have problems, we're going to have to address these problems before we move on with anything else that we do. Right? So he addresses that in this song where he goes, in this song that came out yesterday, Euphoria, when he goes, hey, I didn't understand Drake reaching out to me, knowing that me and Drake had some issues to address. Right? So he did point all of that out.
So I just want to say though, I for me personally, I consider first person shooter to be very important. It's like the catalyst of the whole thing. I just don't consider it part of the battle in terms of the way the public was consuming it as being like.
So then let's do this then. So we'll call first person shooter and like that verse for the sake of the debate right now. We'll call that kind of like the weigh-in. That's like the promo before the fight.
Right.
They was just, they was teeing up for what was the actual battle. We'll call that.
Exactly.
That's fair?
Fair. Yeah, except I would disagree because like that is the first punch. Like that was a swing in public. I'm swinging on you. When he said, mother F the big three, it's just big me. Those were the words that put this thing in motion as far as everybody knows. It was a shot. It was more like the first shot of a war. You know what I'm saying? And the first person shooter was Archduke Ferdinand. That was like the beginning things that led to the first shot. But that was the first shot.
There was some things in first person shooter that
we didn't know. But I'm saying, but you'd have to be
you guys. This is why you're either gonna take first person shooter and like that and put it in, or you're gonna take them both and set it on the side.
No, it's like that. You start it like that. Like that is where this thing just started.
You can't start it like that because even Kendrick he's still addressing first person shooter on Euphoria.
I understand.
Still addressing it there.
Right, because it's an important event that's part of their feud.
No, it's the event that's part of their feud.
I get it, but it wasn't a battle song. It was one of many subs that's been happening for years.
Well, so the reason why I say they're either in or they're out is because both of them are collaborative songs. First person shooter is a collaboration with another artist. And like that is a collaboration with another artist or artists. Right? You see what I'm saying?
In the words of Cast One, y'all do what y'all gonna do. I can't agree. This started just now with like that. I don't understand the logic otherwise.
Well, the only reason I say that is because then Drake comes out with Push-Ups, then he follows up with an AI record. So if you're scoring it, Push-Ups was battle on, let's get it on.
Right.
Boom.
Round one.
Hit round one, fight. Right?
Right.
And we're teeing up. He comes with Push-Ups. Right? Kendrick playing in the corner, dancing around the ring. Maybe he hasn't even entered the ring yet. Who knows? However you want to, create the imaginary boxing scenario. But Drake comes back with the AI record. Did it have a name? Did the AI song have a name?
Yeah, it did. What was it again?
With the Tupac
A Mistake. I think it was called Mistake.
Oh, boy, here we go.
Which I thought was very creative, but I thought it was an overplay of the hand, and I thought it was very thirsty. Like you were begging, like, please come back outside. Please argue with me in public.
I will say this: that tailor-made freestyle that Rosenberg said a mistake.
It is. That's a
what he did say did ring truth. Kendrick did wait till Taylor was out the way to drop. That happened.
Well, but
that happened.
But this further solidifies the mistake for Kendrick. I mean, for Drake, he had to yank it down.
Well, yeah, because it was a play thing. He knew that wasn't going to be real.
Well, and make good with the Tupac estate. Like it
He knew that
was.
Yeah, he knew that wasn't gonna go well for him. He knew that because he didn't even put that up on streaming. He knew what was gonna happen. He wasn't gonna be able to do anything with that.
He wouldn't have been able to put it up on streaming.
Right. He knew that was a stupid move.
Either way, that whole part, everything that he said and did on that song to me was, and the social media around it, that was Drake pulling up what The Rock used to do, standing right in the middle of the ring and being like, nah, I want you in the middle of the ring. Get out here. And remember on the ad-libbing, when he says that the ad-libs at the end, you're going to have to do some quintuplet,
quintuple entendres.
Quintuple entendres. I know you're in that New York apartment. I know, but like he was taunting. I want to go. Let's go. It was begging almost for a fight.
Hey.
Yes.
Well, yeah, because Kendrick wouldn't come outside. And there's been a history of him not coming outside.
I mean, listen, OVO Cast.
I'm not OVO Cast. I'm very in the middle today because Kendrick went.
Okay, but do you guys? Because I saw a lot of people trying to discredit Kendrick for quote unquote taking too long to respond, which I think is BS.
Well, I don't really know where that.
Yeah.
The internet tries to. The internet and social media tries to act as if they're the end-all, be-all, and deciding factor of how things are supposed to play out. By the way, in every walk of life, literally in every walk of life, I don't know when we decided that someone had a certain period of time to respond. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I never heard
when
that
became a thing. I've been watching
Drake
battles play out. I've been watching battles play out for a long time in real life. Before there was the internet, there was never a clock ticking on response time. And if there was a clock ticking on response time, guess what? The clock's still ticking on Drake's response to Pusha T. So how can he be the arbiter of when people are supposed to respond when you didn't respond?
Right. Well, that was called. He didn't answer the bell. That was the end of the fight. That's what that was. You took a body shot. You went, oh no. I'm going to go ahead and set this one down. Battles have to end. The question is, will this one end? Or is Drake going to come back?
I predict the Drake response before the end of the week. I predict Drake already has
I wouldn't
something.
rush.
I predict he has something recorded. I predict that Drake does not want to let Kendrick control the narrative at all and let this cook for a minute without a response.
I'd like to maintain that this conversation should continue without the Rocky music anymore. That's what I would like to say. It was nice for no, I mean, there may be more music. But here's the thing. I'll say one thing about Drake that I think is awesome about this situation. In my opinion, this nerdy old backpacker who loves rap lyrics and styles and doing things and pushing boundaries and not just name calling, I think this is a very tough thing to respond to. But if Drake does it, if Drake actually comes back with something that even those of us who are really bar intensive are like, yo, I think even a draw goes to Drake. If he can even compete with what he did on Euphoria in a way that's even, I think that's a win for Drake because people don't expect Drake to be able to do what Kendrick does. So it's a great situation for him if he's up for the task. But if you try to start reaching too hard now, because Kendrick's song was... I mean, when I saw 6 minutes, I thought this isn't going to be good. I thought 6 minutes is not going to be good. There's no way for 6 minutes I'm going to be entertained and enthralled. And the man hit every one of his own styles that he's known for on one song. And every time you might start to get a little bored, changes it to do something else. And then just comes with
the voices out. Sorry.
He didn't keep them out. He did some voices. He just kept them limited. His voice. Like when he did the screaming voice, I was like, I hope he doesn't do the whole song in screaming voice. He didn't. Just give you a little taste of that, Kendrick Lamar.
Well, now, what I enjoyed the most was, what a lot of debate on the internet is about now, which is, challenging Drake's blackness. right? Because I always knew this was going to come to pass. Because Drake's Canadian, he never really stands on any black issues, right? He's very middle of the road, milquetoast when it comes to anything. All he really cares about is his relationships, his money, and his chart position. Right, and for those of us that love this hip-hop thing, and if you're black American, you know that there's more to this hip-hop thing than that, and that's what Kendrick has always given us. That's why we love Kendrick, because it's purposeful, it's social commentary, it's from the ilk of the Chuck D's and the Ice Cubes and, like I said earlier, the Q-Tips and the Andre 3000s that come with purpose and something to say and stand for something. And that's why it's so poignant when the record starts, where he's just talking about this famous actor. We're starting to see him spiral.
Yep.
Right, and we've talked about that as Drake tries on new clothes and new hairstyles and new accents to try to stay with the times and stay relevant with the times. And by the way, this is not a shot at Drake. That's what Drake has done to get to the stardom that he has and the
And it's
success
worked for
that he
him.
has. And it's worked. And by the way, we like
it's
the
who he
songs.
is.
And we like the songs.
But we can't. But no, what you can't
Yeah.
do. And yes, Drake would get offended to hear you have the conversation. But what you can't do is pretend like it's not what you've done. Drake has chosen a path.
Yes.
The path was never going to be, I'm going to make an album. I'm gonna get Alchemist in there. I'm gonna get this one in there.
I'm not going to be a hip hop purist.
I'm not trying to be a hip hop purist. I know that. I've had actual conversations with him about that. I wanted that. There are people who wanted that from him.
Well, because we know he loves that.
Because
he comes from that.
And you come from that. So that was always the thing, right? It was always like this was always the little things about Drake that would drive me nuts. Fonte from Little Brothers, my hero. He's the reason I got in the game. Where's the feature from Fonte? You know what I mean? When is that happening? When are you doing the thing that we know is in there in you? And when is that album that for the hip hop heads we're getting? Yes, I'm not going to argue with younger people. I know there are 30-year-olds listening who consider several Drake albums classic. But make no mistake, Kendrick made very specific mention, you don't have one hip-hop classic.
Well, because there's not hip-hop consensus on it.
Because he knows there's not consensus, and he knows at very least, Kendrick knows at very least he has 1 to 2. Even if someone like me would argue more, he knows he has 1 to 2.
Well, so now the reason, and we could go back to, people, when Kendrick starts going, I hate you for this and I hate you for that. That's taken from, just so we're clear, that's taken from when DMX was on The Breakfast Club.
Yep.
Right.
When DMX was like, and he had a reoccurring thing on The Breakfast Club where The Breakfast Club would ask him, yo, how you feel about Drake? And he would be like, I hate his haircut. I hate this. I hate that. And DMX would run that down. That's what Kendrick is running back on, just so we're clear.
A
legend in the game was consistently like, I hate your haircut. I hate your face. I hate the way he talks.
Wait,
Like
is that multiple times or one clip?
Yeah, it was at least twice. It's
It
two
was at
different
least
clips,
twice.
Because they asked him, he came back and he was like, do you still feel this way? He was like, he doubled down on it.
Got it.
And
And does Kendrick say the same things that DMX said?
Pretty much.
Pretty
In a
much.
nutshell.
Pretty much. But, that just solidifies what Kendrick goes back to what Kendrick was saying on the Like That verse. He is more concerned with respect and with hip hop than he is with money and power. Right? And so you have people operating from two different places, which I think people need to understand. Kendrick is not operating from a place where he's trying to out-chart position. He's not operating from that place. He's operating from a place of, I love this hip-hop thing, and I love the heritage of what hip-hop means to black Americans, which is why he continues to poke Drake about his blackness as a black Canadian, who Drake on record has always talked about, in Canada, we don't have those problems. We don't have those racial problems. We don't, Canada's not like that.
And biracial Canadian. I mean, that part's specific. That is in there, too. It's baked into it.
And to
With
turn
the
the
blackness
knife.
conversation.
And to turn the knife, Kendrick said, and you know what? All these people that are real hip hop people, I'm speaking for them. Because then he goes, it's not just me.
It's not just me, it's the culture.
Right, it's the culture. That hurt.
Now, I will say, though, on the flip side, I said this a couple weeks ago, and I do believe it. I believe Kendrick. I believe everything he said. But I also know, being a purist, you still have your moments as a purist where you do have some little bit of like, but it is messed up that I can't be the most popular just because I'm about good stuff.
1,000%.
He's a fallible human being. He has feelings,
Right.
and those feelings
Well,
probably
which
are.
is why I think he let himself go. I hate this and I hate
Right.
that. And I'm a hater. Like that.
I'm a hater.
By the way, hip hop purists, guess what they are?
Haters.
Exactly. How
Well,
many
it's in
times
there.
have you seen Rosenberg up here just hating on something just because it's popular?
Because it is part of it, because it's built into the core of being a hardcore hip hop head that you've always been frustrated that everybody out there wants to eat donuts every single day for breakfast and not have a nutritious meal. And why is it unpopular to have a nutritious meal? That's essentially what it comes down to. Because Kendrick feeds nutrition, and Drake feeds. It's Henny.
It's fast
It's
food.
a party. It's Coke. It's all there. It's a
And
great
we love,
time.
and by the way,
good times.
I got to
Good
reiterate
times.
this for the sensitive Drake fans. People like that stuff.
No, it's a
very
great time.
popular.
It's very popular.
It's very, very popular. So
And easy.
And so,
Super easy.
As we wrap, are you guys giving this round to Kendrick or to Drake?
So we're
What's
just
the
asking
score
about
right
push-ups.
now?
Push-ups versus Euphoria is what you're asking.
Well, because the tailor-made freestyle got yanked
It's
down,
yanked.
so does that even get to
So
count?
push-ups.
So let's just go push-ups Euphoria right now. I think that's the better, easier. Let's look at that as the round. What do you say, Casto?
I said even if you include TaylorMade, it's Kendrick on this
It's still
one.
Kendrick on this round.
It's Kendrick.
Okay.
Laura, how do you feel?
I feel Kendrick cooked. Kendrick cooked on this one.
Rosenberg?
I didn't feel the same about Drake. I thought it was good, but I was like, okay. But I think
It played out.
flambéed.
It played out exactly how I thought. The Drake record, in the words of Ebro, it was cool. It was cool. It had really good stuff in there. It was funny. He talked his ish, and I dug it. He dared Kendrick to come out lyrical miracle. I thought Kendrick not only brought the lyrical miracle, but it was entertaining and pointed and awesome. And I'm not ruling Drake out. Calm down, Drake stands. But I am giving this round soundly to Kendrick. I am. It's not a 10-8 round, but it is a 10-9 round. He won the round.
Listen, this is Kendrick's. This, and I think he may have gone back and listened to what Nas did on Ether.
What do you think, Ebro?
I think Kendrick won this round because what he did was a scathing psychological breakdown of an individual that is at the height of their game and really is and laid it bare like the emperor has no clothes type of joint. You know what I mean? Where it's like Drake is fully exposed. And the reason everyone is coming for Drake right now is what Kendrick is saying in this song.
Right.
You've manipulated and used everyone for your own gain. But what have you actually given back to the game itself? And then you have the nerve to go buy Pac's ring and use Pac's voice and act like because you've had chart position and hits that you can stake that claim in the game. That's offensive. Shawnee Culture, how you? Well, no, Shawnee Culture don't even get a vote. You're a Drake hater. You don't even get a. You don't even get a vote.
Listen, man.
You don't even get a vote.
You might be surprised.
But now, I mean, it's clear. Kendrick definitely dissected in this one. And I'm always on the side of the purists. So it's a unanimous decision, clearly.
So
Oh, the
let's
hate
see
we're
what
gonna
Drake,
get? Oh,
what
boy.
Drake comes with. Let's see. We're not counting him out yet, but let's see what Drake comes with, and he will.
Oh man,
Drake,
the
get off
Drake
the
stands
memes.
have had it.
Get in the booth.
Wow.
Get off the memes.
Listen, the internet will never sway my opinion, guys. I hate to break it to you. I'm not of
Good.
your era, B. It's never
Yeah.
gonna sway. And by the way, and I think it should be said. I'm gonna say it again. I am enjoying both styles. Both styles. I'm enjoying both presentations, and y'all know it. Y'all know it was an international incident when I said it last time. Drake has never stood for anything ever. So when you're up against somebody whose whole career is about standing for something, and the reason you're having issues right now is because you've only taken from the game, you haven't given back enough, and the community feels like that, you're going to have a problem with the guy that the community feels has literally made their career about making sure the Black American heritage of hip-hop is taken care of. You're going to have a problem.
But if you make sure you just look at all the same dumb internet personalities who don't care about any of that and just care about what's hot,
but they're they're also being manipulated, and that's what Kendrick's talking about. Because Drake shows up in their DMs, Drake gives them an exclusive, Drake invites them to a party.
Correct.
Drake knows if I like so and so's IG post, they're going to be on my team.
That is a fact.
He's manipulating that whole thing. Kendrick doesn't play that game.
Nope. You just have to either like his music or nah. Well, can I ask you one question, though, before we close this out? One question. So last night, Louis sent it to our group chat. There was that moment where Drake went on IG stories and posted a clip apparently from the movie 10 Things I Hate About You.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know the movie. So my question was that intentionally the whitest thing ever to post, sarcastically?
Yes.
Because you're sure?
It has to be.
Because otherwise, I was like, literally, that's exactly what Kendrick was. This is so white, I don't even know what it is. I had to ask my wife what this was. I said, I don't know what movie this is.
So since we're on it and we're back to it, that even when Drake texted his mom and was like, Rick Ross is being racist, black folks that know was like, yo, my man, why are you talking to your white mom calling another black man racist? You don't even know what racism is. What are you talking about? And that's how out of touch with black Americanness Drake can be. Because there's black Americans who don't play with that. Like, that's not even something, like, what are you talking about? That's not even what racism is.
Did he use the word racist in
Yes.
the thing? He did?
Yes.
Well,
And so that's problematic for people. And that's because
But by
you're
the
out
way,
of touch.
there are fundamental cultural differences between Canada and America. That is also a thing that exists.
Yes. Yeah.
But
All
but
right,
also, man, and for my Canadian friends, just because y'all didn't have Jim Crow, it doesn't mean y'all wasn't up there segregating black folks and killing Native Americans by the droves. So knock it off.